Buddhism. The purpose of these videos and the reasons for taking the time now and not simply putting off my notes until who knows when. Graduate school, if I get accepted eventually. There's people who walk around talking on their cell phones in the streets to get fresh air during this coronavirus pandemic. There's people who walk and run and do all kinds of physical activities for chemical benefits, a stimulus, the reward of health and concentration and focus. And there's plenty of distraction. Going from talking about the reasons and the choices for these videos now to a voice of a sweet woman outside and the sun's shining and the footsteps in the hallway suddenly. Restlessness comes from lack of goals. And not having goals has to do with decision making, the brain. The mind has been built so strong and so powerful for so long and continues to be made as large as the room around me now. Taking away energy from the choices the brain makes and the decisions the brain makes now. Giving the world brain, body, mind from Dr. Nordhoff and other neuroscientists in the best language that I can give now. Lets me be Buddhist. And live in a world not interested in making progress, not interested in now, more focused on the task, climate change, world goals, visions, and ideas. Most people worry about money, safety, security, family, health, and well-being. A lot. And for the people who are good at mind and good at behavior, not once in a while saying out loud, oh my gosh, rats and monkeys and dogs and pigeons. B.F. Skinner would have been so excited at the world. Psychology could never change, possibly. And people will keep the language and keep the restrictions and keep the control and keep the body behaviorally recognizable. The voice, the language, the letters, the sounds. Neutral. Emotions, positive and uplifting, easily manageable, and calm. The world's been going in this direction as long as I've been alive, and I'm 36. And what stands in the way of any sort of newfound freedom, aside from some nationalist country thinking, has to do with places like Google, YouTube, uploading videos like me now, and limiting like Fox News or some other big contributor who only does just a few to keep that feed nice and smooth. Behavior, technologically. And they give you one subscriber to let you know you gotta work your way towards victory and success. Eventually, potentially and possibly getting a few dollars and cents. People have built so many boundaries and barriers for behavior. Behavior has turned into the elephant in the room. There's no longer a free and wild imagination, for engineering especially. You shoot rockets and drive cars and dig. In the military, they blow stuff up. And they have these devices and they have these options. And there's Boeing and Skunk Works and Lockheed Martin and plenty of other places. And a person can get there doing what they need in school and following all the rules, not making any mistakes, or getting cancer along the way and not having a family. Some of the unusual circumstances in lesser wealthy communities. They get their diversity from other parts of the world, importing, visas. Plenty of smart people who are ready and energetic to get the heck out of where they live. And they allow these kinds of people to do the work for the poor and often suffering communities, saying those people can't do the work they need, so they got to get somebody. And at the same time, limiting the people they're saying aren't ready to do the work they need now. The invisible hand. Saying to those poor folks and people, they're not making good choices, they don't know what to do yet now. So they send JP Morgan Chase in, they send all these super intelligent and brilliant people to help them get awareness and learn. Little parts change along the way. Learning happens where there's nothing. But unfortunately, the entire system and their dysfunction with their processes and the dysfunction with the processes reliant on mind and behavior. Eliminating the flexibility in that elephant in the room who could turn into infinity. With less war, less fighting, and less hunger. So much brain power and energy gets spent with the mind and behavior. The elephant has to be painstakingly grasped, held. Looked at, observed, taken apart, and put back together in a $2,000 a month apartment with 300 square feet. Unless you're Jeff Bezos with a $100 and something million home in Los Angeles. They get to have elephants in the backyard. They get to have an elephant in their library. But those who have no other problem other than their lack of freedom have to stare at numbers from the government, renew applications, wait for stimulus, and vote for the next talking human. Buddhism in this context, with this information now, sees the room as a home, an apartment, an ashram. Sees now, with my hands, describing my face, and speaks from my voice coming from my brain. Resting the mind during long days studying, like today, with small letters about psycholinguistics. And then active during physical exercise, yoga, weightlifting, walks in the park, helping the brain, the body to get the motivation, the inspiration, the courage to go out into the drug-filled, violence-induced, paranoid Seattle hysteria of Washington State. Now,